Welcome to another CEO Wisdom Pod. We have Eveline Smet with us. She is the CEO of the Growth Agency. 10 years plus she's been doing that, so quite impressive. She's a LinkedIn top voice. She's the owner of an AI-powered growth agency. So we're going to obviously talk about growth and AI today. This pod is brought to you by podpire.com. If you want to start or scale your podcast, go to podpire.com. Eveline, welcome to the pod. Tell me a bit more about yourself and what you're up to nowadays.
Okay, thank you so much, Charles, for having me. Yeah, what am I up to nowadays? You did the intro quite well. So I run a growth marketing agency called the Growth Agency. I've been doing that for 10 plus years, actually. And obviously now the big talk in town is AI. I see that you're into automation and AI a lot as well. Super exciting what's happening around there. And what am I up to? I'm trying to train the team as much as possible on using AI, both for internal workflows, let's say, and for agency or client projects, basically. So there's so much to learn. We're really trying to test out a lot of tools, getting everyone up to speed, and just be ready when big clients are starting to ask for these tools and solutions. So yeah.
So I've managed agencies for the past 10 years too. And one other lesson that I had again yesterday was that the main value of humans is teaching me not to work with humans and to use AI instead. To me, training humans looked like a nightmare. Instead, I'd much rather just spend time with an AI, training that AI so that it can yield exactly what I want, be it always 100% energy and never messing up. Where am I right and where am I wrong into this?
Oh, that's already an interesting question, a little bit philosophical as well, maybe. I think, especially in our business, what we're doing, it cannot fully be run by AI because we're like a full service agency. We deal a lot in speaking with clients. The personal relationship is very important. I have clients that have been with me for over 5 years, team members as well. So we really, really rely on this human connection. I think, and it's true what they say, I think AI will not replace you. A human using AI will. And I mean, I think you cannot fully replace yourself, right? So you still need to have like a human in the business at least. Although what they say is that the first person company over 1 billion of valuation will come soon. I think it's the founder of OpenAI that says that. So humans in combination with AI is where I think the real value lays. Although I fully understand working with people is a hassle. It's super hard to get top talent. It's super hard to train people, to keep them with you. I mean, if I would say what the biggest struggle for me in the past 10 years was, it would be finding and keeping talent 100%. Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree with that. It's been my greatest struggle as well. I think
Yeah.
the full tech stack is already there to fully automate taking care of clients. It's just that we need humans to build it. Yeah, I do agree that top humans will never be replaced. Me, the 9 to 5 model, my problem with it, I guess it's like it's not coming from first principles. Nowadays, I'm studying slavery, and I think that modern slavery is a 9 to 5. It's humans being convinced that they should work for a salary in exchange of their time. While, in
Mhm.
my opinion, life is about freedom and being fully in alignment with your values. I know tons of humans that just work for the money and uh,
Yeah.
they'll like eat the lunch while the ticker is still ticking on the company's back, and vice versa. Companies are also taking advantage of them. So I think the model here becomes who can take the most advantage of whom. Obviously, that's different in big corporations that have amazing culture and all of that and are really good into brainwashing their people. But I think fundamentally humans are made to start their own business and yeah, suffer because it's hard to start a business, but also like reach the top of the mountain. A lot of people disagree with me. And um, would you? Do you think like entrepreneurship is for everyone or it's not?
Well, I think everyone can be an entrepreneur if they're willing to put in some hard work and take some risks in the beginning. I mean, that's something that you really have to do. For a lot of people, it's more like the sound of being an entrepreneur is more interesting than really doing the work. And I definitely think everyone can do it. I'm definitely not the smartest person. I don't work the hardest. I just took some risks and had some balls in the beginning of my journey, and I think that's the most important. 100%. I'm fully aligned with you there. I saw your LinkedIn profile, by the way, pretty impressive. You started many businesses, and you say like, okay, freedom is really important. Do you have a lot of time to chill and just have freedom in your daily life, or?
Yes, I do. I just took like 2 hours 30 right now. Went walking with my dogs, had a nice breakfast with my wife,
Yeah.
and yeah, watched a bit of my favorite podcast. So yeah, I always have time. It's asymmetric, it's not like blocked in my calendar every day. And I don't believe in like routine. I think that makes it very boring and the brain doesn't grow. But yeah, I
Hmm.
do have time, but I love hustling as well. And I love growth. It is challenging sometimes. Like, for example, in the past 2 to 3 weeks, I've been sick. So it's like 10% minus energy, which I can't afford.
Yeah.
So there's always these struggles like that. But yeah, and I resonate with the word balls, like having courage to go get what
Yeah.
you want. Um, how how does that feel like as a woman to start your business in the past 10 years? How is your leadership style different, and have you faced challenge like being a woman in this testosterone filled entrepreneur world?
Well, I never really had that much of a feeling like that being a woman makes it very different. It's true that when I started, I was pretty young. I only worked for an employer for 9 months. So it was maybe more the age that I saw as a disadvantage, because they see you walking in and they're like trying to underestimate you. But I always took that as a bit of an opportunity, right? To just shut up, let everyone speak, and then just come in pretty strong. I have to say that in the beginning, I was like maybe a little bit like trying to overpower and just trying to be like super confident, maybe overconfident, and yeah, maybe be a bit male-ish as well in my leadership style. Whereas as I'm growing older and becoming a bit more wise, I understand more the aspect of the human side of it. It took some time for me to develop those skills. I was really like focused, hustling, like you mentioned as well, high on productivity, which is all a bit male traits. And now I understand more. That's the other side, that people want to do things that they're passionate about. You have to delegate, you have to empower people. And I would say that in the beginning I was maybe more of a boss. I'm becoming a bit more of a leader as I grow older and have more experience, but that hasn't been easy.
Huh, that's interesting. Yeah, just listening and yeah, coming in with your point after, which should be the best one because it encompasses what everyone said. So I like that philosophy, especially in leadership. Me, I still think that my one of my problem when I was a leader, I don't think I'm necessarily a bad leader, maybe a bit too much testosterone, but I think it's also my energy levels are always super high, and maybe that
Yeah.
like intimidates people, or maybe they don't hear every word that I say. And my output is like 10 and theirs is like 1. So yeah, how do you fix that? How do you put some equilibrium into this?
Nowadays, I just delegated a lot. I used to also like micromanage. I think as well that my output is much higher than most people. So I make strategies super quickly, presentations, all of that. And I just had to understand that I cannot expect the same level from most people. It's also my business, so it's only normal that I put in like 150% of the work, and others do less because they're working for a boss and actually trading their time for money. Although you can motivate people in other ways as well, so that they feel that they have a bit more ownership. But in the end, it's you who takes the cake, right? So just managing my own expectations, I think, has made me a happier person as well. So I think it's much more of an internal process than just constantly trying to motivate people to be like you, and that's just not possible. So managing expectations mostly. What about you? How have you just like completely kind of filtered out the people and replaced them with bots?
Employees, yes. But humans as a whole, no. Like high output humans, I partner up with them. I
Yeah,
have some affiliates for me. So they're all the entrepreneurial kind. That's the difference. They're not like people that I'll pay yeah, an hourly salary. So partners, co-founders, affiliates. So I collaborate with these people in various ways. And I'm also affiliate for various products. I work with top companies still, like for example, Spartan Race. Yesterday, Joe DeSena confirmed that I could be an affiliate for them, which is pretty rare. And yeah, it's just cool. It's a different
right.
way to view the world. And I think it's way more scalable. And also one thing that I think at least, and that's also controversial, and that's mostly advice to myself, but I think that hiring humans is lazy. Um, in my case, I used to hire humans because today I could post a job post, tomorrow I'd have the candidate, and then I'd be, oh wow, that person's amazing. And guess what? They were amazing, but their output it goes like down, 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 down with time. And still my point the point I want to make is that literally like tomorrow they can start working for me and potentially fix that problem for me vs AI, and it might take me like a week or two to create the formulate and extreme patience and coding and doing some mind bending stuff. But once I fix it for life. Vs that employee, in 1 month from now, I'll be starting to see that their performance are decreasing, and 2 months from now, I'll fire them or they'll quit 50-50. So yeah, what do you think about these models?
I think when dealing with lead generation and these kind of processes where everything is like an if this then that kind of setup, you definitely these kind of tasks can and should be automated, because I would quit as well if I have to do that every day. I mean, it's just not really feasible, or for to get someone motivated to do that. For the type of jobs that we do, we have questions coming in from clients that are so diverse. How do we double our turnover, let's say our revenue in the next 5 years, for a specific company? We'll have to sit together with the team, do research, obviously come up with different hypotheses, discuss it with the client, go back. These are some things that are quite unique depending on the business. So I don't see how that can be automated. Definitely research can be automated, copywriting can be automated, lead generation, all of that. And I just help my people work with these kind of tools. But I definitely need their input. I need their strategic minds as well. I don't feel like the output of people diminishes over time at all. I think if you give them the right tools and the right mindset, you have to keep on cultivating the mindset. I really try to do that. You can just at some point let them roll with it basically, and they will come to you when they need help. And that's kind of the setup that I have with my company. I have a few really good people who manage projects by themselves, clients by themselves. I took myself out of the day to day for most of the time, so I'm pretty happy with that setup. It works for us actually.
And what do you think of entrepreneurs that would teach your employees to ask a raise always?
What do I think of entrepreneurs who would teach people to ask a raise?
Yeah,
I think
there's like all these career coach that will teach your team to ask a raise whatever their output is, and they're getting paid for that.
No, I don't agree with that. I think performance-based raises or bonuses are very doable. I have that with the team as well. So, but they have a set of KPIs, they have a growth plan, and if they know exactly what they need to achieve, so that really motivates them. That helps them to see the end goal as well, and they know that they can reach a higher level in the company as well if they achieve that. So yeah, that's working pretty well.
What are your own growth tactics nowadays? How do you get your new clients?
Well, the company has been growing quite organically, I have to say. We're still a small team. We're 8 people. In the next phase, I really want to scale the company. I've had some offers from people who want to buy it, but I don't think it's packaged for sale yet. I feel that I didn't really take full advantage of growing the company. So I'm gonna shift a little bit and spend more time on my own personal brand, posting on LinkedIn. SEO for the agency is pretty good, especially since we're called the growth agency. It's a bit of a strategic choice as well. So I'm gonna just focus more on personal branding in these next few years. That's how I see the clients come in. We never run any ads and things like that. It's really people who get to know you, and you might agree with me since I know you spend a lot of time growing your personal brand as well. People see your face, they hear you speak, they read something you've wrote, and that's what triggers them basically. So in that case, it's still a very much a human to human business as well. Um,
Yeah, in that case, that brands follows you everywhere you go, basically. Was reflecting on brand this last weekend. It's the reason why people trust in the first place and buy if they've never had any contacts with you, or even if they're clients that previously left you and came back, it's because of the
yeah,
brand. Plus,
yeah.
the brand also makes your company very sellable. Just that it seems that you need to reach new heights to have such a brand. Talking about that, how do you make your agency sellable? Is it recurring revenue? Is it brand? Is it contracts? Is it the team? What would make your agency fully sellable?
Yeah, I think it's a combination of all of that. Brand is obviously important, but they want to see the money. So recurring revenue, multiple year client contracts with big companies, team retention as well, and definitely methodology helps a lot. So we've been spending a lot of time on getting our methodology there, on how we do our growth audits, how we do SEO, how we do performance marketing. Everything is based on SOPs. Working with a solid project management system as well might sound very basic, but most of the agencies that I've worked with, even the big ones, they don't have really proper systems in place. Everything gets tracked in the tool. I know exactly how profitable everything is. And bear in mind, I just implemented this a few months ago. We were also running quite blind, or at least I was having all the calculations in my head. Now it's just easy in a dashboard. Clients work in that as well. So the whole system is basically operational from everywhere. It's set up to work with remote employees. Client just gets plugged in there, and it works in a pretty solid way. I think that's something that, at least from my side, would make the agency very sellable because you have everything in this one tool. Do you work with these systems as well for your agencies? You started a few, I think, right?
Yeah, systems. Like I've tried a bunch of systems, and nowadays I try to go simple when it comes to client management, like good old Google Docs and Google Calendar. I always have AIs to assist me during the meetings.
Yeah.
Um, but I don't necessarily have these systems. I like also spending time and really figuring out my client's problem. Probably 50% of what I sell nowadays is coaching, which is
Yeah.
quite interesting. It's a very strong source of data for all the other startups that I start. Yeah, to be frank, my agency is not really sellable. And do I even want to sell it? Is another question. Because I love the source of data it provides me for all my other startups that I start. So, but yeah, I've got an offer as well that's pending on the agency, but I'm like, meh, not sure.
Mm.
It's also like very nice cash flow vs like the minimal time input that you put in once you know how to run these. But yeah, talking about AIs, like what AI tool do you use nowadays to optimize your ops, optimize your sales and your client success?
Well, we mostly use OpenAI, ChatGPT, different custom bots that we created, but always operated by a human. So it's not like we have the full AI automated workflow. We always keep a human in the loop. So we're training our people to work with those. We use AI for content creation as well, for creating visual concepts that we pitch to clients and things like that. Um, but yeah, no end-to-end 100% AI without a human involved. It's something that our clients wouldn't accept as well, since we're working mostly with corporates. So we're now educating them on how to use AI internally as well. What about you? Which are your favorite tools to use? I think you came up with your own lead generation AI tool, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, well, there's Clutch that we're working on. It's an interesting potential product market fit because it's for people that have like 100 plus positive replies from cold email campaigns in their mailbox. It's also for people that necessarily don't have that volume, but are just don't know how to sell or reply to responses of their cold email campaigns, aka my clients. And eventually we'd potentially develop that system for CS customer service because I've seen some big needs on that level. Um, I went from GPT to Perplexity to Gemini Pro once it launched, and nowadays I use Claude's uh, Pro tool. So yeah, Claude's quite amazing. Um,
Mhm.
I use Clay a lot. It's basically plugging a bunch of source of data together, and then you can have AI make sense out of these
Yeah.
potential source of data, and then send a cold email with that, which is pretty much the holy grail. It's nice, but it takes a lot of time, and I'm obsessed with like energy efficiency. Although it's $1 billion scale to probably be very good at Clay and have a first mover advantage in there, but yeah, I'm using a bunch. I'm using some for the podcast as well that are yet to be deployed. My thesis, what I've found is that these AI tools have evolved so fast and the human brain like so not fast that seems that we still have years of adaptation, but GPT-5 is right around the corner. So yeah, what does that mean for humanity, or for the business world to have such high technology in our hands, but not even being able to use it?
Yeah, it's an interesting question. I think we cannot grasp the opportunities right now. There are a lot of tools, the business cases still, I mean, there are business cases coming out, but the real business case still has to be proven. People have to be trained to work with that. Like it's a bit panic at the disco at this point in a lot of companies. And we're slowly trying to make them understand that they can automate a lot of processes, but they have the idea. For instance, we wanted to implement a chatbot for customer service, right, at one of our insurance clients, but they're expecting the technology to be 100% um, correct, 100% solid. And that's just something that's not possible. So people have these expectations, while even AI and even with a human in the loop cannot really have a 100% efficiency rate. So there's still a bit of a discrepancy there. I think slowly as we adopt technology, we'll move more closer to reality. But yeah, it's super interesting. I think I'm so happy to be alive at this time and just, witness this. It's like a new revolution basically coming that's going to be bigger than the internet. So I'm quite obsessed about it, to be honest. But I also understand that I know nothing at this point. Yeah. What's your thought on it?
Yeah, I think I'm very grateful to be alive at this time as well. Is it coincidence or is it a simulation? Who knows? Because we might live forever in this day and age. I mean, some people they say like, oh, might live 120, 150, some say 500 years old. But I mean, at this point, like, let's say that you live 120. I'm 30 right now. That gives me 90 years. What will happen in 90 years? I mean,
Mhm.
if we've cracked like AI that quick, I mean, I'm not considering like, yeah, sure. I think Sam Altman and the OpenAI team and everyone that's involved in the AI world, they built off the back of their predecessors, sure. But what they made happen was exponential. There's so much more humans nowadays. We're so much interconnected online. There's so much
Yeah.
more data points. And I think it's just like Ray Kurzweil says, it's like an exponential acceleration. So I'm pretty sure we'll crack the longevity codes, and
Yeah.
yeah, we'll live amazing things. And one of my main goals is to liberate myself and us from our human nature, which I think is beautiful in some places, but in some others, it's not scalable, to say it in a nice way. Like us burning the planet, and testosterone itself is not super scalable, right? It's always like conquer and sort of
Yeah.
win lose. So yeah, I'm eager to sort of liberate us from that nature and live more peacefully, quote unquote.
Yeah, it's interesting. I see you're like a very like productivity based person. I saw you entered in, was it Dragons Den with a nootropic as well? So like on the one side we want to be super productive until the point where we don't have to be productive anymore. But why can we not just balance it from the beginning onwards? It's like this all or nothing kind of mentality. And I struggle or deal with it as well. I think all entrepreneurs do. It's like it cannot be stable. You have to go all in, be super focused on something until you're not, and then hopefully it scales or it becomes feasible, and you give it to someone else. You start something again, and you're always getting yourself into that rush. But imagine that you manage to, and maybe you are at this point, to have a fully automated business where you earn enough so that you don't have to work a day in your life anymore. What do you do, and how do you get excited?
Right.
um,
Yeah, I think AI agents are there. They're definitely not to the point that we want them, right? You can see their reasoning as well, just like humans.
yeah.
Um, they block at some point and then it's game over. An employee, when it's game over, they come and see you, right? Hey boss, what should I do? But yeah, AI will understandingly and quite easily fix these problems just by trying 1,000 things in 1 second. Um,
Yeah.
I think that's going to be revolutionizing. And I think, like one of my goals to really be part of that ecosystem and make it advance. Because sometimes we're like, oh, it's moving slower nowadays at the realm of AI. But yeah, why not contribute to it and make sure that everyone's motivated and deploying things safely? That
Mhm.
is, because we've seen a lot of people abuse with these things. So yeah, it's a beautiful future. Where can people find out more about you, Ev?
Growthagency.co or on LinkedIn. Eveline Smet would be perfect. Looking forward to connect to people actually who are also deploying AI, being excited about it, other founders as well. So that would be really nice.